Today we're going thrifting at 2nd Street to see if this place actually lives up to the hype. This is a resale shop that has a ton of different locations, and we're going to see if we can find any cool vintage stuff in here for a decent price. You never really know what you could find in this store, so stick around to the end to see my entire haul because, spoiler alert, I ended up finding some cool stuff.
What's going on, everybody? Today is another day of thrifting, and I just pulled up to a 2nd Street store. If you've never heard of this place before, it's basically like a Plato's Closet but for more designer stuff and vintage. I go here every once in a while, not that often, but every once in a while you can find good vintage stuff for not that crazy of a price. They buy and sell just like Plato's Closet does. Like, you can bring them in stuff and they'll give you money for it. But I think like what all these stores do, they basically just put in what the brand is into their system. And a lot of times with vintage, it's kind of hard to do that. So a lot of times they can price things in a wide variety of price ranges. Even if it's something really good, if it doesn't look like anything that special, they might mark it down really low. And same way, if it's something that seems good, like a reprint of a band shirt, but they don't know if it's vintage or not, they'll price it pretty high. So it's pretty much a gamble when you go in here, but it's a free gamble. So let's go inside and see if there's anything good in there.
So the music is always so loud in these stores, so I muted the clips and I'm just going to do a voiceover. The first section I went to was the t-shirt section, and I immediately found this vintage NASCAR t-shirt from Daytona. It's from the late 90s, early 2000s, got Dale Earnhardt on the back, and they only wanted $12.99 for it, which I thought was a pretty good deal considering this is 2nd Street and I never really know what to expect. I kept looking and I found another NASCAR shirt. This one's got Tony Stewart on the front and back, and it's from 1999. I have a feeling that the same person brought in both of these shirts and that's why they were so close to each other and have the same price. There's a ton of different sections in this store, so I never really know where to look first, but I found in the t-shirt section, there is a lot of vintage stuff, even though there's other vintage sections in the store. I feel like this is the place where you can actually find the best deals. I mean, if you're looking for just a random vintage t-shirt with a graphic on it, some of the shirts in here are only $5.99, which is basically just thrift store prices. I wasn't really sure what this t-shirt was. I think it's some kind of a Hot Rod Garage or something like that. Found this vintage U2 shirt, but they wanted $33 for it. I didn't pick it up because I'm not the biggest U2 fan, but I felt like that wasn't that bad of a deal either. I also found another NASCAR t-shirt, probably sold to them by the same person, but this one had a big stain on the front, so I didn't buy it. It feels like every time I'm in here, there's stuff I want, but it's just on the border of like if I should buy it or not. Like, this Nike t-shirt is super heavyweight and thick, and it's from the late 90s, early 2000s, but it was just a little bit too expensive. Let me just rant for 1 second. I hate when stores have these double racks. They're so hard to look through. My arm hurts when I reach up to the top, and my back hurts when I look down at the bottom. There's just no winning. I get it. It helps you put out more inventory, but it's seriously the worst experience having to look through these. But it's pretty hard to complain when you find shirts like this. Check it out. It's a vintage double-sided Harley shirt with the Black Hills Rally back print. And the best part is they only want $12.99 for it. It's from the late 80s, early 90s, judging by this Hanes Beefy tag. And what's even better is right next to it was another vintage Harley shirt for $12.99. But this one is way better. Check this out. It's long sleeve, it's got this stonewash pattern, and it's double-sided. It's super sick. A little further down, I found this shirt from American Choppers. I've never personally found this brand before. It's definitely a little bit less cool than finding a West Coast Choppers shirt, but I'll take it. I also wanted to show you guys a few of the things that were priced too high. I've only been showing you guys like the good price stuff so far. Like, check out this horse shirt. What price do you think it is? Maybe 6 or 12? No, it's $23. There was also this Metallica t-shirt that was clearly a reprint, but it was priced at $33 and it has the printed tag on the inside. This Hummingbird shirt was somehow $29. I really have no idea how they price their stuff. It makes no sense. Maybe it has something to do with if it's single stitched or not. I really don't know. So the next place I went to was the American Vintage section. This part of the store has a wide variety of stuff. It has a lot of t-shirts, but it has other stuff too, like sweaters and things like that. It also has some higher price stuff that I think is rightfully high priced. Like, they had a vintage Austin Powers shirt for $89. I'm not really sure if it's worth that, but I feel like that's a cool enough shirt to maybe price high. Another shirt I thought was really sick was this Snakes on a Plane shirt. This one has been here for like 6 months now. I don't know if they ever price drop things here, but they definitely need to lower the price on this because I would definitely buy it if it was a little bit cheaper. I'm never really sure what I'm gonna find in this American vintage section. Today they had a true vintage vest, and I've seen other true vintage stuff in this section before, so if you're into that kind of stuff, it might be worth checking out this store because sometimes they put like random flannels and old jackets in here. As I go through, I'm just kind of showing off some of the other cool finds that were scattered throughout the store. Obviously, the prices are all over the place, so it's kind of up to the person to decide if they want to buy something specifically. I saw this Polo Jeans Company jacket that was priced at $24, and in comparison to some of the t-shirts in here, I feel like that's a pretty good price for a jacket. 24 bucks, like that's pretty good. They also had this massive leather jacket section that I've never seen before. There was a Harley Davidson leather jacket in here. It was priced a little bit too high and it wasn't super old, so I didn't buy it, but I thought it was cool. The jacket section in this store specifically is always loaded up. I came in here in the summer and it was also full, but now that it's the fall time, it's the perfect time to look through here. One of the most interesting jackets I saw was this Polo Pine Lake kind of varsity jacket. I couldn't really tell how old this was when I saw it, but I did a quick Google search and I found that it's from 2020. I'm really bad at dating polo tags. I need to see if there's like some sort of a tag guide online to really specifically tell, but like even nowadays they use a tag that looks pretty similar to the vintage tag, so it's kind of hard to tell if you're not really familiar with the brand. They had it at a pretty similar price to what it was selling for online, so I didn't end up buying it. They had this vintage Boston Red Sox jacket that's sort of like a Letterman. They also had this vintage Nike jacket. They weren't priced really cheap, but I mean, if you're looking for a sick jacket, these are both pretty good options. I also wanted to mention that at Second Street stores, they usually have a Patagonia slash outdoor wear section, and I love to look at this section because you never know what kind of old Patagonia stuff somebody might bring in to sell. One time I found a vintage Patagonia deep pile jacket in this section, so yeah, that's why I always look, because you never really know. In the hat section, I saw this ass pizza hat that was a little bit too expensive, but it was from 2021. There was also this sick Columbia like ski dinosaur hat that was kind of cool. And as I was leaving, I thought I would just show you guys the Supreme section. If you guys are into streetwear, this is kind of like a really good time to start looking for streetwear again. I know it's not that popular right now, but you can definitely find some good deals on streetwear stuff because it's not as popular as it used to be. And like I said, you're able to sell and trade here, so this could be a good option if you're looking to upgrade your wardrobe without actually spending any extra money.
So I just got out of there and I ended up finding some really good stuff. It was so hot in there that whenever I got out to my car, I had to take off all my layers. I don't know why I was wearing a jacket, a sweatshirt, a thermal shirt, and then like a cutoff shirt. That's just way too many layers and I was way too hot. But anyways, I found some pretty good stuff in there. I've never found any vintage Harley stuff in a Second Street that wasn't like priced really high, and the Harley shirts were only $12 or $13 a piece. I ended up buying 7 things and I think the total was around 75 bucks, so that's pretty good considering what we got. Let's go back to my place and I'll show you my entire haul.
Okay, I'm back from Second Street. I went home and I got a shower because I was seriously sweating my ass off. I sweat through my entire thermal shirt. I had to go home and take a shower, but now it's time to show you guys the haul. Before I get into it, I want to talk a little bit about Second Street. I don't really want to repeat myself too much from what I said in the actual video, but I feel like Second Street, nobody ever talks about it, but it's actually a pretty decent store. This isn't an ad or anything. They didn't pay me to say this, but I feel like there's a lot of potential there. I feel like people talk about Plato's Closet sometimes. I feel like Plato's Closet is a lot less popular than it was a few years ago, but I definitely feel like Second Street has so much cool stuff in it every time I go. And if you're somebody who sells clothes, if you're somebody who's just into clothing, it's a great place to like bring your old stuff and trade it in, and then maybe just try to get something else that's cool in the store because they always have great stuff. Like I mentioned, I don't go there that often. I probably go like once a month, but I feel like 75% of the time I find something in there whenever I go. So like 75% of the time, I find something 100% of the time. I don't know what that's from, but I love saying that. It's pretty much just like a thrift store where you go in and there's some things that are going to be overpriced, but sometimes depending on who's pricing the items, you could get some pretty good deals if the right person is pricing things. I know whenever I found these Harley shirts in here, something kind of strange happened. Whenever I was checking out, one of the workers, not even the person who was checking me out, was like, "Oh my God, you got those Harley shirts. I was going to buy them." So it got me thinking, maybe they priced them low so that one of the workers could have bought them after a shift. I'm not really sure if that's how it works there. I know at Goodwill, like, if they price something, they legitimately aren't allowed to shop in there for like a week until like the color tag changes. So I don't know if at Second Street they can price stuff low and then go in at the end of the day and buy them. But yeah, something sketchy could have been going on there. I'm not really sure, but I ended up getting lucky and finding them. So maybe that's something to look out for. I mean, maybe some of the workers price things cheap and then put them out and then try to get them at the end of the day. So maybe try to go at like the end of the day. So maybe they put something out right at the end so they could get it. I don't know. Just a suggestion. Anyways, let's get into the haul now. I started talking about the Harley shirts and they're so freaking sick. This long sleeve Harley shirt with the stone wash and the eagle on the front is definitely my favorite find of the day. And then it's got the Outpost Pueblo, Colorado on the back. I'm trying to look for a date on this thing, and there's one that's super faded that I can't really read, but judging by the tag, this is a late 80s, early 90s Harley shirt. And typically, if you see ones with this tiny patch down on the front, they did this in like the early 90s, so that's kind of a way to tell. Here's the American Choppers t-shirt. This one's double-sided. It's got this little graphic on the front and a big one on the back. Underneath the tag, it's dated 2004, and it's sort of like a firefighter-themed motorcycle shirt. I don't know if all of these American Chopper shirts are like this, but on the back of this one, instead of that West Coast Choppers logo, it has sort of like the fireman logo. I don't know if that's actually a logo of the firefighters, but it's sort of like a cross looking thing. This NASCAR shirt's actually pretty interesting. So I mentioned that it had Dale Earnhardt on the back, but this shirt's actually for 3 different racers. It's for someone named Andy Pilgrim. I've never found any shirts from Andy Pilgrim before, so he must not have been that popular. And then obviously Dale Earnhardt, but then there's also Dale Earnhardt Jr. So this is the time when they were both racing. So this has got to be like the late 90s, early 2000s. This one's pretty cool too. 1999 Tony Stewart Rookie of the Year NASCAR shirt. Got that classic orange Home Depot car, and yeah, this one's double-sided. Both of these t-shirts are made by Chase Authentics. This is a brand you'll see all the time with NASCAR clothes. I think that Dale Earnhardt owned this brand and made a lot of this merch for NASCAR, but you guys will have to correct me if I'm wrong. But anyways, one thing about these shirts is they always fit oversized, or at least during this time period they fit oversized. And so these are size large, so they'll probably fit at least a size extra large. It's nice that I found a large, because if you find like an XXL, that thing's going to fit massive. Even if you find an XL, sometimes they fit really big too. So I'm kind of happy that I found size larges for these. I picked up this Hooked on Phonics t-shirt for $5.99. This is from the 90s. This was like a popular way to learn. I don't know if it was like a tutor program or like some sort of like a computer program that you could buy, but this is sort of just like a parody on that. It's like Hooked on Phonics worked for me, and it's all spelled wrong. I found this shirt before and sold it, so I was thinking maybe I could sell it again. And for $5.99, that's basically just a thrift store price at this point. All the stores around me sell t-shirts for like $5 or $6 now, so it's kind of crazy that Second Street has prices that low. I also will say that if you do choose to bring your stuff into Second Street, first of all, if you bring it in and they don't offer you enough, you don't have to sell it to them. You can obviously say, no, I'm going to take it somewhere else, or just not sell it at all. So I would suggest that. Make sure just to not sell things because they offer you something. Like, maybe think about what you want to get for an item, and if they don't offer that to you, then obviously don't sell it. But second of all, if they can sell shirts for $5.99, they're obviously getting shirts for very cheap. So keep that in mind. Obviously, if they don't know the brand you're bringing in, or if something's just too obscure for them to recognize, they might offer you like nothing for an item, even though it could be worth a lot. So just keep that in mind too, because obviously they just randomly offer different amounts of money for things. I'm guessing the things they have priced higher, I mean, not in every scenario, but probably in most scenarios they pay more for those items. That's why they're charging more. So that's something to think about too. Definitely, if you have any brands like Supreme or like streetwear brands like that, it might be a good place to bring them, because you could sell them pretty fast just by bringing them in there. And they'll probably offer you more because they can actually easily look them up online and see what they go for. I also picked up this Bars of Panama City Beach t-shirt. I buy these every single time I see them because I just love seeing what an area looked like back in the 90s before I was alive. I want to see what bars were there and which ones still survived and which ones are now defunct. I found these for areas that I've been to, but I've never personally been to Panama City before, but it is pretty cool to see, and I know somebody out there will want this one. This shirt was only $5.99, and it's on this Fruit of the Loom Best tag. And here's the last shirt I picked up. This is a Black Hills Rally 50th anniversary shirt by Harley Davidson. I feel like a lot of the times when you find a Black Hills Rally shirt, it's not even a Harley shirt, it's just sort of like a generic biker shirt. But this one is really cool because it is a Harley shirt. It's got the eagle on the front, and then on the back, it's got another graphic there, sort of with the old Harley logo too, so that's really cool. I couldn't find the date when I was actually in the store, but now that I'm looking at it a little bit closer, it's dated 1988 on the back underneath the graphic, so I was definitely spot on with seeing what the tag looked like with the actual date. It's on the same tag as the long sleeve shirt, the Hanes Beefy Tee. This is one of my favorite vintage blanks. It's tagged a size extra large, but I feel like these t-shirts usually fit a little bit smaller, so it probably fits around a size large. And for $12.99, this was an awesome pickup. You guys will have to let me know which find was your favorite, and let me know if you've ever been to a Second Street before. They're pretty underrated. I feel like I never hear anybody talk about them, and they're a lot of fun to go through and dig through. I've been to a bunch of different locations and they're all pretty much the same, so you should look it up and see if there's one around you. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a like and subscribe to my channel. I make videos like this all the time, so if you enjoyed this one, you'll probably enjoy one of my other ones. Thanks for watching.